Ok.
Blup.
Ok, funziona. Boh, posto. Dritta con la schiena. Oh, converge. Salve. Che Matteo sta facendo le foto. C'ho il LinkedIn. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming. We would like to get the ball rolling, and first off, thank you very much for coming to this afternoon session. As you can see from the title, we are going to focus in a very thorough way on didactic, innovative didactic specifically. And we thought it was the case to allocate some time to discuss these topics, because as you already know, innovation as a whole, and also the challenge-based aspect of didactic are recurrent themes throughout both the Alliance and the project EUTOPIA More. And so we would like to present you more in depth the topics and dynamics that are currently shaping not only our universities here in Europe, and not only here in Foscari, but also the entire learning ecosystem in Europe, so to say. The topics that we are going to explore more in depth are how innovative teaching and digital learning are gradually transforming education. And as for Foscari, in this respect, we've been experimenting with new tools, formats, and new pedagogical and didactic approaches for quite some time now, many of which will be presented today by my colleague Maria Giulia Bertolini. And so we are presenting a sample, not the whole complete list, but a sample of the concrete steps that Foscari decided to take in this regard with several initiatives that we carried out so far. And so from the very beginning, I'm encouraging you to be active part of the conversation and note down especially the things that struck with you the most, to share them later on, maybe in the final session. That can be also a QA, because your engagement and your contribution is, of course, very important. I'm here in my capacity as a European project officer that works for the EUTOPIA unit here at Foscari. And here besides me, we have our colleague Maria Giulia Bertolini from ADIS, the Innovative Didactic Office. And let's say that our paths I've crossed many times, and she's very actively engaged and involved in EUTOPIA. She's been very supportive from the very start with the implementation of our activities, and she's going to present the activities of her office too, because there are many points of convergence between what we do and what they do. So without further ado, I would pass the floor to Maria Giulia, my colleague. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Maria Giulia Bertolini, and I'm Educational Program Officer at Innovative Educational Unit at Foscari University. Today, I'm here on behalf of my office to present our main activities, illustrating the pathway our university is taking to reshape education. I'm also here because my role within EUTOPIA. I'm involved in Work Package 4, where I coordinate the EUTOPIA Innovation Challenges. These hackathons that take place twice a year share interesting similarities with one activity we run at Foscari, but I will come back to this later. Before diving into our activities, I would like to mention also another initiative, EUTOPIA Design. Together with colleagues from Warwick and Gothenburg, we proposed a project which includes the creation of a digital map of innovative teaching across EUTOPIA. The project passed the first two-step selection, and we hope it will be realized. We believe this map could be a useful tool to visualize who is doing what and where. And I mean, just think about how much time you spent looking for info on the university's website or looking for the right person to contact for a project. This map would really make collaboration easier, or at least we hope so. And in fact, this is precisely the spirit of the Alliance, creating tools and practices that make collaboration natural. What I enjoy the most about EUTOPIA is being part of a larger project that connects universities across Europe. It turns shared challenges in shared opportunities. And universities play a key role as driver of innovation. And initiative like this provides valuable opportunities to explore new teaching methods. Even though we hope that this digital map will connect us, nothing replaces being in the same room. And today we are lucky enough to be here so we can start sharing. I will present what we do here at Foscari, but please, in the meantime, think about how these resonate with your own context. I'd love to hear from you once I've finished. Colleagues, feel free to share what's happening in your university, if you have similar activities or some point in common, or completely different activities we could learn from. And students, we are also eager to hear about your experience with innovative activities, what you learned, what benefits you gained. Your perspective is very important, is key to understanding the impact of these initiatives and inspiring new ideas. Now, let's start our journey by looking at the context. The European Skills Agenda encourages universities to rethink how we educate students for tomorrow's challenges. Building on that, the recently launched Union of Skills emphasizes transversal competencies, lifelong learning, and the social value of equipping students with future skills. Together, these frameworks remind us that higher education must evolve, and this evolution is precisely what my office focuses on. So, what does innovation mean for us? Universities today face so many different challenges: globalization, rapid technological progress, societal challenges. This landscape implies a fundamental shift. Higher education must not only produce knowledge, but also rethink how this knowledge is produced and experienced. Often when we talk about innovation, we think about technology. However, we believe innovation starts with methodologies. The goal is to change the classroom dynamic, and innovation happens whenever we engage students in an active way, and active learning can take place even without using any digital tools. That said, technology remains a vital ally if it's used correctly. Digital tools are not just a layer of tech on the top of traditional teaching, because, for instance, if we take a lecture and move it into Zoom, we are not innovating. There's no innovation. Instead, technology is an opportunity to scaffold learning. We use it to build interactive environments where students do not just receive information, but construct knowledge. This shift from passive reception to active construction is very important, and it's the only way to help students to develop the so-called 4Cs: collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. These are complex competencies. Students cannot acquire them by memorizing facts. They must practice them to generate original solutions instead of repeating the existing ones. Fostering these skills requires a change in the mindset. It demands moving away from the traditional teacher-centered to a student-centered model. We all know the teacher-centered approach. The lecturer is the expert, is the one who transmits the knowledge, and the student is the recipient. While this method works for transferring information, it doesn't work for developing the 4Cs. And that's why we aim for a student-centered approach. In this model, the lesson is not a monologue anymore, but turns into a dialogue that generates active learning. The change we aim for depends first and foremost on our academic staff. Innovative learning can only reach students if there are teachers who are able to rethink their practice and to use new tools successfully. This is why our first step is to support and train our teachers. To meet our faculty's needs, we provide various learning opportunities. First of all, micro-learning on Moodles, since our professors are always very busy with research, administrative activities. These kind of modules allow them to training anytime, anywhere, covering from digital tools to pedagogical approaches. However, online training is not enough, as I said before. We believe in the value of coming together, and that's why we organize workshops focusing on practical topics. For example, we ran a successful session on public speaking, helping lecturers communicate research, or on tools like gamification, giving the teachers the chance to experience these methods as students. We also invite experts from other universities to share their insights. These activities serve a dual purpose: exposure to innovative methodologies and peer learning. That is also very important. Finally, to ensure these opportunities to reach our faculty, we recently added a newsletter specifically for teacher training, and this keeps our professors informed about workshops and resources and coming events. Our training initiatives focus on our academic staff, because true innovation in teaching cannot happen without them. Teachers are the ones who engage with students, so equipping them with the right skills and support is essential to enhance the overall learning experience of our students. And this learning experience is becoming flexible. At Foscari, our actions are guided by a core principle defined in our strategic plan: the integrated teaching approach. This approach relies on digital technologies to create a flexible learning environment developed in two directions. First, through the flexibility of our course structure. We offer online and blended courses within our traditional degree programs. And this year, we launched the master's degree in Economics and Governance of Public Organization. This is our first fully blended program, specifically designed to address the needs of working students, including those employed in the public sector. And second, through the flexibility with the traditional classroom. Here, face-to-face teaching remains central, but we integrate digital tools to make lessons more interactive and student-centered. This allows the lecturers to use methods like cooperative learning or flipped classroom. For instance, we use digital tools to make this possible, like Moodle acts as a virtual classroom. Padlet enables collaboration through shared boards. Mentimeter supports real-time feedback, especially in large groups. Our activities also extend beyond our enrolled students. We began working on MOOCs, our massive open online courses, back in 2015. More recently, we have taken a significant step forward with Advance. Advance is the first digital education hub in Italy, specifically dedicated to advanced digital culture in higher education. It was born within the framework of the National Recovery and Resilience Plan and is a joint project involving several universities, with Politecnico di Milano acting as the leading partner. The platform hosts a large number of MOOCs aimed at supporting students, teachers, and professionals in developing advanced digital skills. There is a strong focus on key sectors such as AI, data management, digital sustainability, and transdisciplinarity. The project focuses on producing high-quality MOOCs and promoting blended learning to redefine the standards of digital education. And I have to say that we are very active in this production. We are currently working on several new contents, and I'm pleased to mention that we are going to publish a new MOOC about AI and academic writing. All these MOOCs are free and open to everyone, and some of them have been designed to be integrated into blended courses. And since they are open and accessible, they can also be used as enrichment materials within university teaching. For example, they could be an alternative to additional readings. And this approach is fully aligned with our integrated teaching philosophy. But innovation is also about connecting different fields of knowledge. And to support this, we developed a program that helps students broaden their perspective, the minors. I have to say that I have a very personal connection to this program, as I was hired to support the launch of minor project back in academic year 2017-18. So I had the chance to follow the whole project from its very beginning. Our minors take inspiration from the Anglo-Saxon model. And since the Italian system doesn't have a formal major and minor structure, we introduce this possibility to allow students to enrich their study plan. Each minor is a complementary pathway to the bachelor's degree and consists of 3 courses for a total of 18 ECTS. So it's a small package, not so big. Students choose minors for very different reasons. Some look for specific competencies. They are not covered in their main degrees. Others simply choose them by curiosity. And the results are often unexpected because we can have economic students who explore gender studies, while a student of literature might decide to study computer and data science. A minor also changes the learning experience itself, because students step out of their usual bubble and meet peers from different faculties. And even in this program, the teaching relies strongly on active learning. We have group work, practical exercise, museum visits, or meetings with professionals. And this is a way to bridge theory and practice while building transversal skills. And this kind of cross-disciplinary exploration has a real impact on their academic and professional path. We have seen students find the topic of their thesis thanks to a minor, or others who choose master's degree in the minor they took. Well, I know that for many of you, this might not sound so revolutionary, as many of you have similar programs for a long time. I don't know if there is somebody from UPF, because our minors are share many similarities with yours, and were launched more or less in the same period. However, for us, it was a true innovation, because Ca' Foscari was the first university in Italy to introduce the minor system, and after us, other institutions like University of Bologna or Rome, La Sapienza, followed our example. And the interest has grown so much that we created a national inter-university working group to coordinate practice and share experience. Looking farther ahead, we are also expanding this model into the digital dimension. In fact, last year we piloted our first fully online minor, Energy, Climate Change, Environmental Risks, and we have to say it was a success, because teachers were very happy, students were very happy, and so we are offering it again this year, fully online. And I truly hope we can increase the number of online minors in the future. This is a personal aspiration, perhaps even offering some of them in English to reach a broader audience, international audience. Finally, minors naturally fit into the wider conversation of micro-credentials, as they allow students to gain specific competencies within their academic path. This topic, the one about micro-credentials, is growing in importance, both nationally and in Europe. And in line with the European Skills Agenda, we see micro-credentials as a strategic tool to bridge the gap between formal education and the labor market, certifying the results of even small volumes of learning activities. To this end, Ca' Foscari is developing internal guidelines while participating in the national debate. This is an ongoing process, and we are currently evaluating the best way to ensure that the Italian framework aligns with European standards. Alongside minors, another crucial part of our activity is the clubs or C-Labs or Ca' Foscari Laboratories for Active Learning. And this connects to my work in EUTOPIA. As I mentioned, I coordinate the EUTOPIA Innovation Challenges, and those international hackathons share the same DNA of our clubs. In both cases, interdisciplinary teams tackle real-world problems using design thinking as methodology. And topics change every time, covering areas such as sustainability, fashion, food, or challenges related to Venice as well. We had two. We collaborate with a very diverse range of network of partners and stakeholders, firms, companies, museums, cultural foundation, but we also organize clubs in collaboration with research projects, because research projects sometimes need to engage the public and disseminate the fundings, and students can contribute with fresh ideas. While the method is similar to EUTOPIA Innovation Challenges, the format is different, because EUTOPIA Innovation Challenges are hackathons, sprints lasting about 4 days, up to 4 days. Our clubs are marathons running over 8 weeks. And this duration allows students to develop concrete ideas, also because they receive a different training. Of course, they last 8 weeks. For instance, they receive training on business planning and public speaking, also because it's very important to present ideas in the right way to the stakeholders. At the end of the 8 weeks, there is a final event where the students present their proposals, and there is a jury which evaluates the ideas and choose a winner. So for each club, we have a winning team. And over the year, the winning teams produce impressive outputs, and sometimes the proposal became a tangible output, tangible results. For instance, we had students who published books, 2 books actually, one interactive book and a children's book. And another team developed a platform for reusing waste materials from leather production. In that case, the club was Shoesability and was about sustainability in the fashion industry. And the results was outstanding because this platform didn't exist in Europe. It's the first example in Europe. And I remember I was there during the final presentation. The entrepreneurs were amazed by the proposal of the students, and now exists. This platform exists and it's used. We also organize a shorter club and also hackathons. We experimented a fully online hackathon during the pandemic, indeed, but also in person. And we had partners such as Maison Bulgari, for instance. That hackathon was about the metaverse. Very interesting. Then there is the crucial area of transversal competencies. The minors and the clubs allow students to develop also soft skills, but this is the domain of the Foscari Competency Center, a key structure within our Venice School of Management. The center's directors, Professors Fabrizio Gerli and Sara Bonesso, are currently in London for Reimagine Education Awards 2025, where they have been shortlisted in the category Nurturing Employability. So they couldn't be here today, and I'm going to present briefly their activities. The center was founded in 2012 and addresses a fundamental need. Because we know that while hard skill gets you the interview, it's the soft skills, so emotional, social, and behavioral competencies, that get you the job and help you grow. And here we approach them with the same scientific rigor as any other discipline. The methodology adopted is the international change theory, and it guides students through a deep process of self-discovery and transformation. It's not a standard course where you sit and listen, it's a journey. Students start by defining their ideal self, who they want to be, and then through assessment tools and feedbacks, they discover their real self, and the gap between the two becomes their personal learning agenda. They practice, they fail, they receive feedback, they try again. And during the labs, they work on emotional intelligence, teamwork, conflict management, and leadership. And the impact is tangible. Data shows that students who participate in these labs not only report a high level of satisfaction, but show a significant increase in their employability and a stronger awareness of their potential. So we have talked about minors, active learning labs, soft skills. These are powerful learning experiences, but they raise a practical question. How do we make them visible? When students include these activities on their CVs, on LinkedIn, how can a recruiter, especially if it's an international one, clearly understand what skills they developed? To address this need, we rely on open badges, which can be added to CVs and on LinkedIn. Open badges are not simply digital icons. Each badge contains metadata. Clicking on it opens a dedicated page on BEST, the platform we use to issue and manage the digital credentials. This page describes exactly what the student did, the competencies acquired, and the assessment criteria used. We began by issuing badges for activities that traditionally had no formal certification, so MOOCs, volunteering, the buddy program, minors, labs. Then we extended the project to cover also regular degree courses, in particular to support internationalization, because degree titles can be difficult to interpret abroad. But by displaying a badge on LinkedIn, students offer a clear, transparent proof of their academic path that is understandable anywhere in the world. Looking ahead, we are working to issue also open badges for EUTOPIA activities. This will allow us to validate students' experiences within the Alliance and ensure that their work and commitment are formally recognized. To conclude, I leave you with one thought. All these activities I presented so far share a single purpose: the student. Our goal is to move beyond simply transferring knowledge. We are aware of the gap that still exists between higher education and the real world, a gap we have the responsibility to bridge. By working in this direction, we can provide students with the tools and opportunities they need to make a meaningful difference. Universities guide them on this journey, and I think that an alliance like EUTOPIA offers essential support, helping to build a shared European identity through collaboration and empowering students to shape the future and create a positive impact. As I close, I would love to hear your thoughts and reflection, examples from universities or comments on what resonates with you. Your perspectives are very important for connecting our shared mission across institutions. I give you the room. Thank you very much.
Well, Giulia, thank you very much for your intervention. That was very insightful and that definitely shed some lights on some aspects that we often overlook, especially when it comes to EUTOPIA. So I don't necessarily want to put the spot on anyone, but is there any feedback or any immediate observations you would like to share with us? Yes, please.
So the minors that the minor badges and micro-credentials, they're good in the sense that obviously they teach people skills and different ones like that. However, sorry. I'm talking about the micro-credentials. Are they kind of validated with companies? As in, like, do companies actually look for these? Have studies been kind of shown to demonstrate that an individual with more micro-credentials would be kind of far more likely to get a job in that specific market? Or how are we kind of justifying the micro-credentials, if that makes sense?
It makes sense. We are still working on micro-credentials. For the time being, we just give badges, open badges for minors. Maybe starting from next academic year, we will work better on that. And of course, demonstrating to have certain skills help in the market labor, because you can develop very tangible competencies. For instance, we have also minors about financial skills. And for instance, you can study Japanese and then have a minor in finance, and you can start looking for a job even after the bachelor's degree. It's exactly the purpose. But we will develop there is a huge debate on micro-credentials, and we are trying to find the right solution and in order to offer the best option to our students.
Sorry, more so, is it trusted, as in other badges trusted by companies?
Yes, it's recognized at an international level. Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Maria Giulia, for your presentation. I have a question about minor. You talked about a university network, but which topics are discussed in this network?
Sharing best practice, because we were the first one who create the minor system. So every time another university would like to create something similar, they ask information, or they, I mean, we were in touch with Bologna, but Bologna have different kind of minors. Because ours, for the bachelor's degree, they created something different for the postgraduate students. So the one in Rome are different again, because it's just for medicine students. So
it's quite different.
It's quite different, yes. But the group needs to share best practice, and in order to know who is doing what.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your presentation. One comment and two questions. The comment is for this young lady here. You can have micro-credentials that are accredited or non-accredited, but if it's coming from a respectable and well-regarded university, companies will certainly regard them. And in fact, the fact that you don't have to take like say a full master's degree, but you can take stackable micro-credentials is often regarded as very valuable, because people don't have to spend a significant amount of time on it. So I hope that helps. I have two questions. One is in terms of, I don't like the term soft skills, but transversal skills I much prefer. But anyway, how do you assess the acquisition of those things like empathy? How do you know that this has been acquired or achieved? That's one question. And then you mentioned open badges being used on LinkedIn. Can you physically put them in LinkedIn and click on them to get to?
Yes.
Or is it a link? How does it work?
You can put the image. It's an image that contains metadata.
All
you
right.
click on the image and it opens a page on BEST.
But LinkedIn is compatible with that, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. But now
Yeah.
the first question
The problem is sometimes our students don't use it because we have to train also students to make them know that there is these possibilities, this chance, because they receive it and sometimes ask it, okay, but what shall I do with an open badge? It's a valuable tool. For the other question, I can't reply because Professor Bonesso is not here, and that is something they do in the Foscari Competency Center. So she couldn't be here. She asked me to put some information about the Competency Center within the presentation because it's part of innovative teaching, but I don't know how to answer to your question because
No problem.
we don't deal directly. Yeah.
So any other questions, curiosities, or just simple observations? Also from other students, because that's something, what we presented so far, it's much more relatable for you and much more relevant, I guess, for you, but that's just my perspective on it.
Or if you took part in a hackathons or something similar in your university and want to share your experience, or otherwise, never mind, don't feel obliged to, to share.
Yeah, it's more to give feedback because I joined an Open Innovation Challenge a year ago, the one that happened in Cergy, and I had a very good experience. I thought the strong part of that program was obviously like the work we did and the presentation at the end, but it was mainly the connections that came out of it. And so I stayed in touch with like people from 3 or 4 different universities. And I think the more of these we can have, whether that be academically, EUTOPIA, it's very valuable because it's then people that you can ask, I don't know, if you're applying to a master's in their university or if you're doing research in something their university is specialized in, then you've got that entrance point and that link. So just, yeah, as a testament.
Can I ask you which challenge did you tackle? Which challenge
It was, which one of the proposed challenges? It was the one from a businessman who was producing project management materials. Thierry something. I'm still in touch with him as well. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it was a nice exchange, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is from a different perspective, but I'm wondering, are you thinking about integrating this into the digital campus that's also being developed within EUTOPIA and also is piloted by the University of Foscari as well with University of Ljubljana? I'm interested because now currently it's connected primarily to connected communities, but would this be something that the students could not achieve but access through their digital campus as well? Is that something that has been considered at all? From a more technical point of view, just thinking about it.
With us, no. The digital campus, I don't know if you know something about.
So it's still theoretical and it's still work in progress, I guess, but it's the main idea. It's becoming a thing, okay.
But I know that it's piloted primarily by Foscari and University of Ljubljana. That's why I'm asking, because it's supposed to be a whole, space for students to use it for everything and anything. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, the only thing that I can firmly say is that the main idea behind it is to use this kind of things that we already have, so without necessarily reinventing the wheel, and to sort of like pool resources such as the one we presented, and put them in the digital campus. That's the main idea. Not to create like something entirely from scratch.
Yeah, no, I was thinking it would be part of it, as an additional feature to have everything in its place.
Yeah, that could potentially be implemented, yes, because we have like tools and resources to do that. So that would be like potentially a nice idea. I have another question for the student that took part in innovation challenges. Okay, so would you say that this experience was impactful on your life, like not necessarily as a student, but like in general as a person? What are the main takeaways that you had from this experience?
I think first point that I mentioned was the people and the connections. I think especially, like I study in the UK, University of Warwick, the interactions we have with other universities in Europe are not many. So I did an exchange program and I had that, but a lot of people don't do exchange programs anymore from the UK to the European universities. So that's a first win. And then the second one, I think it was actually impactful because that professional who gave that challenge, I stayed in touch with and had discussions about the work he was doing because I was quite interested. And we had the option to choose which one of the challenges we wanted to cover. I thought that was quite cool because I could then choose a challenge that I'm interested in as like a potential future entrepreneur. So that was helpful, the connection with that person and also learning from them. And then I think the whole framework of having it be longer, because most things we do as students is just a one-day activity or like a one-hour activity. So the longer framework really means that it's something that, okay, when I remember October 2025, 2024, I did that challenge for a week and it was quite memorable in that sense. Yeah, like both learning-wise, both connections-wise, it was quite impactful, I'd say.
So, simply put, it may sound a little bit trivial, but would you put that on your resume, for example, or did you already do that?
I added it to my LinkedIn.
Okay.
As a line, EUTOPIA
Okay.
Innovation Challenge. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
But you will need a badge.
Yeah.
So further observations or like further comments? Experiences we would like to share that like pertains what we just presented, something, anything from our representatives in the Student Council? No, I don't. No, but I don't want to put you on the spot. No, please don't. Okay, please don't hate me. We'll just like to steer some interaction. Okay. So any further questions? Otherwise, we can call it a day, I guess, and close the session. So thank you again for your participation. I guess you can reach out directly to Julia if should you have like further inquiries or doubts or just questions you might want to ask directly to her. And for things pertaining like strictly to Utopia instead, you can email us at utopia@unive.it. So we are here for you. And since you are, of course, the main target of our interventions, we are very proactive when it comes to your doubts, perplexities, or other queries. So thank you again for your attention and for the time you dedicated to this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much.